thinning cut is you take the whole branch out and remove it. A heading back cut is the branch here, and you know, here's the tip, and there's some little shoots coming off here and here and here, and you just go back and you want that, based on you're standing there looking at it, and you go, I want that branch 2 feet long instead of 3 feet long. So you just go in and you cut it off there. That's a heading back cut. You just headed it back. There's the head, it's back here now. Well, when you do that, there are all sorts of things that come into play. The first thing is this last bud that's out here, there are cells and hormones that are in there that regulate all these things that go on in this part of the branch. When you do that, it's gone. So these latent buds right behind where you cut, they all are stimulated to grow, and there's no leader, and they all want to dominate. So you get this flush of all these branches coming off, which is just a mess for later because there's too much there. You're not going to get fruit on it. You're not going to get life. It's a growth response. Now, all pruning is dwarfing. So if you take a tree that has, say, 10 pounds of wood on it, and you cut a pound out of it, the regrowth, and then you see, if you make these heading back cuts, you think, oh, I just stimulated all this growth, the tree is bigger. Well, the net effect of pruning is you're always reducing the size of the tree when you do it. But when you make those heading back cuts, you stimulate local production of growth right at that point. So that you get all this efflorescence, just tremendous amounts of growth. The tree, that's the tree response, the hormonal response to that heading back cut. So when you want to cut this long branch back, and it can be, a 20-foot long branch on a standard sized tree, you want to cut it back into like 2 or 3 year old wood, and you can tell if you can see the little bud. That's why I should have had samples, the different spots. Well, here, I can pass this along quickly. The little growth ring, you get to know that, and the more you cut back into the tree, the bigger the problem you're going to have. So if you go into 2 or 3 year old wood, and you go to a little side branch, say this tree, say they're back here, like my thumb, there's a little side branch that's coming off over here. Cut this part out, and just think of it that's where the growth is going to go into that little branch that you left, rather than just stub it. That one just stub cut is, you know that you're going to be back there. If you make a cut like that, it's kind of desperation. You're going to be back there the next year to take care of it again. So sometimes the best thing to do on trees that have you want to take quite a bit out of it, select some branches that are really just position growing. They're not letting another branch grow. Do what's called a thinning cut. Remove the whole branch. You just saved yourself a lot of little pruning cuts, and you open the tree up a great deal in one cut. But if you're just carrying around a small saw, although these saws, this technology with these Japanese pull saws, these things, it's amazing. By the time that you got started a little chainsaw, you could cut a fair number of branches with them. They're so sharp. But don't be afraid to take a few big branches out rather than make a bunch of little cut. The tree's this big, you want to bring it down this big. Well, don't think of it that way. If you reduce some of the bigger branches in it, that tree looks a lot smaller, and you've gotten rid of